What's up, everybody? Trey Griggs here, Beta Consulting Group, and you're here for another episode of Standing Out, a daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership. We got a great show today. Cannot wait to bring on my guests today. And all week, we've had some awesome guests this week. So check this lineup out. We've had incredible shows so far, and then we got a bunch of shows the rest of the week. They're going to be awesome. Yesterday, had a great conversation with Holly Laboda by the lake. You'll definitely want to reach out, especially if you are in sales. If you are a sales leader, a sales producer, go back and listen to that episode of Holly Laboda. That was awesome. My good friend Tory Bass is coming on here in just a minute. Dude is fire. Cannot wait to have him on the show. Tomorrow, my good friend Mark LaBrosse is going to be on. We're going to talk about his journey into McClay's Logistics. On Thursday, my good friend Samantha Jones, who led the HIT workout during the episode of Iron Minds on Monday morning at 6 a.m. She's going to be back to talk about her journey to rocket shipping. And then on Friday, my good friend Nick Filipov is going to be on. We're going to talk about what he's doing to help carriers run their businesses more effectively. And speaking of carriers, listen, hey, if you're behind the wheel of a truck, first of all, thank you. We appreciate what you're doing to keep this economy moving. Second of all, check out my friends over at TAFS.com. They are the good guys in freight factoring, helping carriers stay on the road with fuel discounts, tire discounts, insurance needs, cash flow, obviously, small business loans, everything you can imagine. And they're all about educating drivers to make sure that they can support their business in any economy, whether the market's up or down, doesn't matter. So check them out today. Most importantly, click on the link that Morgan or Ruth is going to put into the comments today. That takes you right to my landing page with TAFS so that they know that I sent you. So head on over there, get to know those guys, get started with them today, and let them know that Trey sent you. And listen, if you are a freight broker, you can still be a part of the fun too. You can be a referral partner because you got those carriers that you're working with every day and help them to stay on the road, have all the resources they need to keep those wheels turning. So check them out today. Click on the link, get started. We appreciate that. Also, when you get a chance, go check us out at betaconsultinggroup.com. We'd love to work with you and help you tell your stories. We're all about helping companies move out of the realm of obscurity into being a well-known brand. So check us out at betaconsultinggroup.com. Fill out a form. We'd love to get to know you and help you tell your stories and talk about what we do. And while you're there, listen, you might as well pick up some swag. Listen, we got the water bottles. We got the new hats are in. I'm so excited about it. The hats are in. The t-shirts are in. We got all kinds of great stuff. And we'd love for you to be a part of our community of people that are pursuing excellence. So grab some swag and send us a picture or video whenever it arrives. Make sure you use that coupon code beta-GO. We're coming up on the end of our grand opening here. It's August 23rd. It runs through the end of the month. Get 30% off your entire order by using the coupon code beta-GO, and we would love it. It'd be great to have you part of the team, the community. Also, we got some fun stuff today on the show. We're going to be talking about what National Day it is and some other things as well. So stick around. And right now, I want to bring to the show my good friend. I met this guy. Man, some of you know I used to work at DAT years and years ago, back in 2013, 2014, somewhere along those lines. I met this guy. He was leading a freight brokerage, and I could just tell he was an amazing leader. What's up, Pat? Thanks for watching the show. I could tell that he was an amazing leader and the kind of guy that I wanted to be friends with and get to know and learn from. And he's been so gracious over the years to allow me just to spend time with him and hang out and learn from him. And he's now consulting and helping a lot of companies with what he's doing. So I can't wait to talk about it today. So please welcome to the show my good friend, Tory Bass. Tory, what's up, brother? How are you, man?
Hey Trey, man, what an intro! Thanks for that. Don't know that I can live up to that, but I'll
Dude,
try, man.
You've lived up to every expectation I've set for you, my friend. Like, just so excited to have you on the show. And we'll take a moment, take 30 seconds, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and about Strategos Advisory Group. What you're doing over there?
Hey, before I do that, let me just say this about you, Trey. It's been an honor to watch you, and you kind of referenced the meeting all those years ago at DAT. You know, you were an easy guy to listen to from a sales perspective, man. Just always this genuine approach. You always made me feel like you genuinely cared about my business and my team and those things. And so first of all, thank you for being you. It's been awesome to kind of be on the sidelines and watching what you're doing and to be a part of your show today. Just thanks for that, man. I tell you what I love the most is when you lower the guard to let us into to who you are. I love this stuff with your daughters. Baptizing your daughter was a big moment for anyway. So I'm happy to be here because of who I'm with. And so thank you, buddy.
That's very kind. I appreciate you saying that. All right, now tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So Tory Bass. I've been lucky for the last 17 years or so to be in the logistics business. We were Eagle Transportation, started in 2004, didn't know anything about anything. And but ultimately, we're able to learn a lot from our own mistakes. But obviously, we're able to put good people around us. We built a pretty good company. Went from zero to $100 million in 15 years, and then we're able to we exited. We sold to a private equity firm and operated by NTG in 2020 January. So pre-COVID, sold the business, and I had the luxury of working with them for a couple of years. Today, I find myself doing. I'm a small business guy at heart. I have this great desire to connect, to come alongside of, get in the trenches with, and work with business owners, work with their teams, and so we're kind of doing that. There's no cookie cutter solution. Strategos, its Latin root, means the general's art. And so I think leadership is an art form, Trey. I think that every business is unique, every person is unique, every opportunity is unique. And so we're not coming with any type of cookie cutter solution to do that. So that was a little more than 30 seconds, but that's kind of a quick rundown last 17 years.
Well, I think it's a perfect fit, what you're doing right now, getting in the trenches with other companies and taking your expertise, your knowledge, your wisdom, your experience, and pouring that into other companies to help them out. We're going to talk about leadership in just a little bit, but I want to go back to one thing that you said at the very beginning. You said when you started Eagle Transportation, you didn't know anything from anything, which that's just the way it is, right? I remember when I got in transportation at DAT, my very first company, I didn't even know what a freight broker was. I didn't know what the word integration meant. It took forever for me to figure out what integration meant between technology platforms. And I just look back at those times and think, I didn't know anything, right? But you just figure it out along the way. And that journey of figuring it out, it only happens if you're willing to put yourself into the ring. What was it about you back in 04, 05 that you said, let's start this company and let's try to figure this out?
I think it was really unmatched work ethic. Like I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid to make mistakes. I'm a very decisive person. If I make a decision that's wrong, I'll make another one. I'm not get stuck there. But really, it's just this desire to learn, this willingness to work every day, to show up every day. When you talk about figuring it out, though, I think the one thing that I learned pretty early in the process, I guess, is man, there's a lot of things I'm bad at, right? And so understanding my own limitations and being able to build a team and put the people around me that are good at the things that I'm not good at, And so when I look back at that 17-year journey in the broker space, man, I am so thankful for the people that walked into my door, that walked into my life. I'm so thankful for them, right? So yeah, everybody has a lot of people have this dream to exit, to sell their company one day. But man, I'm very mindful of the people that that helped me get there. I was a small part of the equation. So I think for me, yes, that desire was there. I was willing to figure it out, but in figuring it out, I realized what I'm not. And I was able to position myself well with the right people.
Yeah. And again, it's just not being afraid to put yourself into the arena, and get in there. And a lot of people are. I was scared for years. It took me a long time to become an entrepreneur because there's that fear factor, or just a lack of confidence or uncertainty, or, there's no guarantees in life, but sometimes we tend to think that having a job, there's kind of a guarantee there as opposed to being an entrepreneur where it's much more risky. And there's more risk in being an entrepreneur, but that willingness to put yourself in the ring, I think, is really valuable. And the people who do that are the ones that learn the most, the ones that typically figure it out, and the ones that oftentimes, achieve much more success. I want to turn the tables for a second because you talked about building around your weaknesses, like finding out what your weaknesses are and building around that. I think the thing that always impressed me most about you, Tory, and I'm going to brag on you for a minute, is the team that was around you, because I think that the team that is around a person says more about the person than themselves, because your ability to bring other people along, to cast vision and bring them into your journey of what you're doing, and to lead them in a way that when somebody else, an outsider, sits with them, they're like, something's different here. Something special about this place. Talk about your passion for helping other people succeed as the leader of a company, organization, whatever it is, your passion to help other people succeed.
Yeah, I think that part came pretty natural for me, just in leadership. I had one rule in my 17 years, and I talk about it all the time. That rule is to simply care. And I think when I care genuinely about the person sitting next to me, man, it eventually transcends what we're doing. It becomes ultimately who we are. And so it's not felt just by the people in your organization. It's felt by, in our case, we work with trucking companies. They felt it. Our customers felt it. But genuinely, I think that what does anybody want, Trey, when they are coming into any organization? Anybody wants to feel like they matter, that their voice can be heard, right? So I never wanted to run the company as a puppet show, right? And from the top down, I wanted to operate bottom up, where every single person mattered, every voice was heard, right? So not everybody made the decisions, but they're impacted by the decisions that are made. And so I think that's where it was for me. It's just this genuine idea to let me care about the people that walk in the door. Let me understand who they are, more than just a way of making money. Let me get into close enough to them that I know when they're having a bad day, right? So just getting close enough to the people, being willing to listen to them.
Yeah, it's important to know where your people are and have a pulse of how things are going, because things can change from day to day. We're humans. We go through situations. Something at home can change everything. You have a phone call, a bad decision, whatever it could be. It could drastically affect that. Where did that come from? That desire to care for people? Were you like in sports teams in high school? Were you like point guard or team captain, or your parents' influence? Where did that come from, to just the value of caring about people?
I think that just to simply state it, I think it's trying to be the person that you needed when you were in that situation, right? When you got that phone call that you referenced, right? And so when I was on the other side of that, the people that rushed to my aid, that were there and supporting me to lift me up. So there's plenty of times that I'm going to get beat down. This world can be hard at times, right? And so business can be hard at times, whether your roles in sales or accounting, I don't care what it is, but we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have those hard days. And so to know that I've got somebody that's sitting next to me that's going to come and lift me up and encourage me, man, it's invaluable. Yeah, I would say that I've played Division II tennis in college. I'm a tennis player. Today I prefer.
I don't think I knew that. Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Today I prefer to be on the golf course. I'd much rather be there, fulfilling that competitive spirit. But I challenge you. The older I get, Trey, I find myself playing games like darts and cornhole, where I can't really get hurt. But no, just playing tennis, man, it was an individual sport, but you also played it along with the team. So although you're measured individually in the particular contest, as a team you come together, you're scored as one. So I love the idea of, hey, let me step in and do my part, but then root the other people on to success. So I would say that tennis probably had a part to do with that development for sure.
Yeah, I think most people that played high school sports or college sports in some capacity and had that team environment, you can't help but understand the impact of a team and each individual contribution to that team. It makes a huge impact. Do you, as a leader, when you were looking for prospective employees, how did that play a role in trying to really identify a candidate that you think would fit the culture really well?
Yeah, so I'm gonna probably overly simplify this, but to me, there's only one real way to grow a truck brokerage in our case, and that's through people, right? We can complicate it. There's a lot going on, but I have to be able to recruit, train, and develop people. I need to do it better than the next guy, right? If I'm going to win, there's only one real way to do that. So we had probably 4 phases to our interview process, right? The last one being a panel interview, and through my first 15 years. I sat in as many of those as I could sit in, because I knew that those were the individuals that were going to impact the direction of our company going forward, right? So we try to vet them appropriately, ask the right questions, right? There's an old saying I like to say, but you don't know how you look until you get your picture took. And so a lot of times you don't get to understand the depth of the candidate through the interview process until you actually hire them and put them in that seat. But the reality is I wanted to be part of that process. We grew the company to a level that I probably could have not been a part of those conversations and trusted the team to do it. But man, I wanted to be there. I wanted to see who we were bringing into our family.
Yeah, no, I think it says a lot about you that you want to be a part of some of those decisions, especially when it comes to people. Some of the decisions that are made around technology, potentially smaller decisions, maybe around like some other things like that. Maybe you could grow out of that, but being there where people knew who you were, they had access to you, and you knew them. I think it's so critical for that, and from a leadership perspective, for people just to know that they are known and that something that cares about them, whether it's you or mid-level management, whatever it is. I think that's really critical. I heard this one time. Tell me what you think about this. I heard this one time that people need 3 things to really thrive in business. They need to keep learning, have education. They need to get promoted or recognized, and they need to be able to make money. Those 3 things, which was interesting to me. I thought that's actually kind of interesting, but I think there's probably a 4th one, and that is they need to be known, need to be cared for, and if you have those 4 things, to me, that feels like a pretty good culture, pretty good environment.
Yeah, I think to be known and the idea of affirmation that you're talking about is affirming them in their behavior, whether good or bad. I think those things are very important. I'm a big affirmation guy. It doesn't cost anything to go say thank you to your team, right? So I was very big about recognizing individual performance. I think that's what matters the most, is understanding how you're contributing to ultimately the team winning in the long term. I think that we do that as parents, right? Our job as fathers is to affirm our children when they do something good, right? And that's ultimately learned behavior. I'm on both sides of that right now. I've got an 18-year-old daughter, but I've also got a son that just turned 5. So I've got quite this gap. So in some ways, I feel like I'm starting over, and some of the mistakes I made with my 18-year-old, I'm correcting with the 5-year-old. But the reality is, man, those things are transferable into our businesses, right? The same skills that I bring into my household every single day, I can walk in the door of the business and care for people the same way. So when I say family, I don't take that lightly. These people are part of our operation. I want to treat them that way.
Yeah, I know. It's always been evident about that. And I agree with Chris, appreciate your content, your message. Yeah, Chris, you have no idea. Chris is on our team. I've had a chance to talk to Tory for years. So you're just getting the tip of the iceberg here when it comes to that. You said something, though, you said doesn't cost me anything. I think as a leader, that's really important to remember that. It doesn't cost anything to be kind. It doesn't cost anything to acknowledge someone. Maybe a little, if you want to say it might cost a little time, but it doesn't cost you anything to just change some of the ways that you lead. What are some of those things that you've seen leaders do and that you've tried to, take on in terms of your leadership style that has really made the biggest difference, in your companies?
Trey, I need you to clarify your question for me. So you're asking like what specifically did I do to?
What are some things you've seen from other leaders that you've tried to take over? Like a great, Tiger Woods will try to take a little bit from Jack Nicklaus and a little bit from Arnold Palmer and bring him into his own game, into who he is. I'm curious, what are some of the things that, you've seen other leaders do in your life that you're like, man, I'm going to implement that, and it's made a big difference?
Yeah, for me, I think gratitude is a big one, right? So again, going back to this, it doesn't cost anything. Now, granted, I am a for-profit guy. I love making money. That's how we measure our success oftentimes, with those KPIs centered around the dollar. But outside of that, I think when we think about healthy culture, like I don't know that I love the word culture, and we use it all the time, Trey. And my favorite definition of culture in an organization is the science, the biology definition, which says creating an environment suitable for growth. Well, I'm going to argue that you can grow something bad, right? You can grow something that's cancerous, but at the same time, culture is not ping pong tables and potluck dinners and lunches and those things. It literally is this genuine coming alongside of the people that I'm sharing this common mission with, this common goal with. And so I think appreciation can look at something as simple as a pat on the back. It's pulling somebody into your office, having a one-on-one conversation and saying, hey, thank you. I want you to understand, I recognize what you're doing. And so I think that, go back to the idea of affirmation, it's bigger than we give it credit for sure.
Yeah, I think it goes back to Zig Ziglar once said the best attitude you can have is an attitude of gratitude. So I love that word that you use there. That's awesome to put that in there. Troy, I want to switch gears real quick and ask you about one thing before we get to our new segment, which is the random question of the day. We'll get to that in a minute. But I wanted to ask you this real quick. What has been the impact of not being afraid to put your faith on display is probably the wrong word, or to integrate your faith, I should say, in your leadership and your business?
I think that we were once asked the question, how do you bring your faith into the workplace? A good friend of mine phrased it this way and says, well, how do you actually bring your workplace into your faith, right? So I think that's the better way to look at that, right? So I think when you look at ultimately what guides or drives your behavior, right? Now, I never in 17 years want to go beat somebody over the head with the gospel, right? That was never the plan. But ultimately, when you believe, you do, Trey, right? And so I wanted to be reflected in my actions, right? So if I say care for someone, to love them the way that I am loved, and I can understand my position as a follower of Christ. I am a son, right? And so when I recognize that, man, it's easier for me then to go out and love others. But I didn't do that in a way that was far too righteous in any manner for any person that walked through our doors. I mean, our business was made up of all people from all walks of life, from all faiths, from all backgrounds. And so my responsibility, simply stated, was to love those people well, love them where they are, take a very missional mindset to meet them where they are. Right. I think that's ultimately the goal for me. So.
Yeah, no, it's powerful. And I think that, faith and religion can get a bad rap, especially just from, bad instances that are out there and for the public to consume, or bad experiences people have and whatnot. But when it comes down to it, when you think about how Jesus served, the fact that he was willing to serve the least of them, he was willing to wash their feet, which is the lowest job possible, as an example to say, hey, if you want to be a leader, you want to be great, this is how you do it. You serve everybody in every way. And that changes the whole game, when you do that, because I like to think of it like this. You look at most organizational structures and it's like a triangle like this, with a leader on top and everybody. I like to think of it more like that, with a leader on bottom supporting everybody and serving everybody. And you've exemplified that for as long as I've known you, man. And that's one thing I absolutely love about you, is it's not just about the dollars and cents, even though it's important, like you said. It's really about supporting everybody. And your faith has been a huge part of that. You haven't been afraid of that. I love that, man. Kudos to you for that. It's been huge.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think, I guess it was years ago, the idea that kind of swept the nation from was this idea of I am second, right? Jesus first, I am second. I like even better than that is I am third, right?
That's right.
Is Jesus is put others before yourself. And that's what you're talking about in the idea of servant leadership. And so,
yeah,
look, I just saw a comment pop across the screen a moment ago from Steve McIsaac, and just shout out to Steve. Steve I reported to Steve at my time at NTG, and for the couple of years I was there, man, it's leaders like him that make NTG a compelling place and a desirable place for many people to come alongside of what they're doing, and they're doing awesome things at NTG. I was proud to be part of that organization, and even prouder to work with people like Steve McIsaac.
Yeah, that was an awesome comment. Steve, thanks for watching the show. He said, great leader and even a better man. I couldn't agree more with that, which is awesome. All right, Tory, listen, we got to do our, first of all, did you know, by the way, that it's two things. It's National Mother-in-Law Day, which we're not going to celebrate that because the stories could be kind of, I don't know, it could be good or bad. I don't know, but we're going to stay away from that. But it's also National TV Talk Show Host Day. Do you have a favorite late night? It could be in the past or it could be present. Do you have a favorite late night talk show host?
Oh man, I don't know. I guess there was something about Letterman's style and his approach that I liked. I think today Fallon is hard not. I mean, he's just so talented. Jimmy.
That's what I'm talking about.
His skill set is so wide, so versatile, and he's very gifted. So he's fun to watch for sure.
See, I knew we were cut from the same cloth because I'm a Letterman guy. I thought of the old school. I thought that was probably the best. I mean, Carson was the best. I mean, I could still watch that guy. He was so good. But Letterman was probably my favorite style. Just I don't know. There was just something about the way he did it. It was really fun. And I'm a huge Jimmy Fallon fan. In fact, I'm gonna let you know a secret today, Tory. Let me let you know a secret.
Come on.
I have a secret desire to be the Jimmy Fallon of transportation.
Okay.
This whole thing, I want to do some songs and dance and play games and have guests like you. This is what I want to do, man. So I'm working towards that.
I want to hear an impersonation. Do you do any?
Oh gosh, I know that's not my strength. I'm gonna have to work on that. I don't know that I have too many strengths. What can I do? Kermit the Frog here. That's not too bad. That's decent.
That's good. That's good. I like.
I'll have to work on my impressions game. But I'm more like I want to sing songs. Like get Justin Timberlake on here. We'll do something. We'll do a song and a dance. I'm not afraid to do that.
Look, with the guitar behind you and the golf clubs behind you, which is your go-to? If you had to choose one, Trey, where do you go?
Man, gosh, it depends on what room I'm in. You're turning the tables on me here, Tory. I'm supposed to be asking you questions. Probably the guitar because it's more versatile. I can do that in more places, more people around. The golf clubs, I got to be with people who care about golf. So I'm probably going golf. I'm probably going guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna go with.
That's a good reason. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll deal with that. Okay, all right. So now it's time. Listen, we have a new segment. It's called the random question of the day. I haven't even seen this question. Our producer puts this on. I have no idea if it's going to be funny, if it's going to be serious, if it's going to make you cry, laugh. I have no idea. So let's go ahead and drop the random question of the day. It is, what's the scariest dream you've ever had? Are you a dreamer? Do you remember the dreams?
I don't remember dreams very well. That's probably not a real good random question for me. I remember as a kid, I had this recurring dream as a child that my bed ate me. And, and so that's probably been 30 years ago or
What
so.
bad mattress? Was it folding in like this and you were feeling it?
I just was gone. It was terrifying, but no, I don't really have a recent dream
Yeah.
that's scary
Interesting.
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know that I have scary dreams either, except occasionally I have the thought that the thought of falling without a parachute. Like I'm not a heights doesn't bother me. Like I'm pretty good with heights. I love being up high in planes and buildings and mountain peaks. I love that kind of stuff. But the idea of like falling without anything to catch me, I think is the thing that wakes me from my sleep occasionally when I have that something like that happen. But I don't. Yeah, I'm not a big. I think of I have weird dreams. Sometimes I have really weird dreams. Like I had a dream the other night that so we have a little dog. We have a dog, 20 pounds, is a golden doodle. His name is Tiger, and only one because that's all we can handle. We're a one dog family. But I had a dream that we bought two dogs that were identical and we were swapping them out every day, like Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen on Full House. Like we'd only show the kids one dog, but we actually had two sitting around. And I don't know what we did with the other dog on the days they weren't. I don't know. It was just a weird dream. I remember waking up going, what was that? I don't even know what that was all about. So
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So tell me, your dog's name is Tiger, you say?
Tiger, that's right. Yeah.
Is that after Tiger Woods, or is that?
It is. Yeah. So here's how the story went. So we went to go pick out dogs, and I said to my wife and our two daughters said, "Hey, we all get to throw a name in the hat. What name do you think we should name this dog?" So we're throwing it out there, and of course I put Tiger because Tiger Woods. I'm a golfer. I put that out. Even my girls were like, "Dad, like that's we're not going to name him Tiger." And then we show up, and literally they're like, "Oh my gosh, he looks like Tiger. He's a tiger." I'm like, yes. So it worked out well in my favor, and we love him, and he's a great little dog.
Listen, 22 pounds. Just on topic of naming pets, real quick. So I grew up in a household that we named all of our pets after desserts, and then we went through a period where it was Italian desserts, Trey. So I had a dog named Zabaglione and a cat named Zuppa Inglese.
I've never even heard of those words. I'm thinking gelato. That's the only word that I could think of.
Those are Italian desserts, and those were my.
What are those desserts? I've never heard of those.
I'm not familiar with the actual dessert, but we called the cat Zuppa Inglese. We called Zuppa Zabaglione. We called Leone, but it was that's the kind of household I grew up in. So
interesting. Not human names, just desserts. Yeah, very good. I like that. Nice. All right, so Tory, what is so? Let's just we're almost getting to the end here. Talk just for a moment about Strategos Advisory Group. What are you guys specializing in? Where are you headed with that? What's going on?
Yeah, look, so I'm gonna pivot here, and I hadn't planned to say this, but really kind of what got me wanting to go down this path and is a desire to connect to other people. When I started thinking about what do I enjoy most, well, in March of 21, March 8th, I lost my youngest sister in a car accident. She was 38 years old. She had a 13-year-old son and a 8-year-old daughter at the time. And obviously, without question, the most difficult day of my life. In 2010, I lost a brother as well at 42 years old. Those experiences obviously shaped me in a lot of ways. Well, at my sister's funeral on that Friday that week, her 13-year-old son took the podium at his mother's funeral, my sister. And he said every day when I went to school, he said, my mom, she told me to be your best self. And so every day she would drop him off and she'd say, Ryder, be your best self. And he said, if she was here today, she would tell me, want me to tell all of you guys to be your best self. And Trey, I started sitting in a pocket and kind of let that sit on me and realized, well, she was a teacher. She was an educator. And every day she lived her life like she knew when she was leaving. Like that's a challenge for all of us, is to live like you know when you're leaving, right? Because we don't make that appointment. And so for me, ultimately, to rest in this idea of being my best self, or what do I enjoy the most, is coming alongside of working with other people. I want to see these companies that Strategos is working with not only win from a profitability standpoint. I want to make a lot of money, but I want them to understand that the goal of our business is going to be far more than just making money. Yes, let's make money, let's win. But man, let's come alongside of our people. Let's influence behavior. Let's ultimately bring them into our family and change lives, right? Every one of us deserve to work at a company that wants us there and is proud to have us there, where our voice matters and our voice is heard. So that is probably more than you wanted me to say, but man, it's this idea of being your best self. And that's ultimately what I want to do with Strategos, is help companies find their best them.
No, that's powerful, man. And thank you so much for sharing that. It's amazing how sometimes in life, clarity comes out of tragedy. Those moments where we take stock and say, okay, what really matters? What really matters? What would it look like for me to be my best self? What would that actually look like? And then making that happen. And man, thanks for. I mean, your willingness to be vulnerable is so powerful. And thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I'm just so excited for what you're doing there. I think the world of you. And I think the fact that now not just one company gets Tory Bass, but now a number of companies, however many you can work with, is going to get the chance to work with you is so exciting. How can people learn more about Strategos and about you?
Yeah, I would say that simply go to gostrategos.com and any information that you'll need will be there. I mean, we are posting some content occasionally on LinkedIn and TikTok, but by all means, go to the website. A way to reach us is there. And like I said, I love to have a discovery call and sit alongside of you and figure out how we can come in and help you achieve your goals and dreams. I think when we realize that as leaders in our organizations, that us reaching our goals and dreams is not about sacrificing our teams, that our goals help them reach theirs, then we can do a lot more. So
yeah, no, I love that. Hey, listen, if you're watching this podcast, everybody, go to gostrategos.com. Follow Tory on LinkedIn. If you're not, his content is absolutely phenomenal. Tory, thanks so much for being on the show, man. I'm just honored that you are here today, and I hope you'll come back and see us soon.
Yeah, we will do it. Thanks, Trey, for having me.
Absolutely. And everybody else who's watching the show, make sure you come back tomorrow for another episode. My good friend Mark LaProsse, he's going to be with us. You come back every day, 10:30 a.m. daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership. You guys have a fabulous day out there, and we will see you on the flip flop. Tory, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.